Operation Dingo, also known as the Chimoio massacre, was a major raid conducted by the Rhodesian Security Forces against the Zimbabwe African National Liberation Army headquarters of Robert Mugabe at Chimoio and a smaller camp at Tembue in Mozambique from 23 to 25 November 1977. More than 3,000 ZANLA fighters were reported as killed and 5,000 wounded, while only 2 government troops died and 6 were wounded. Description: 96 SHASH and 48 Rhodesian light infantry paratroopers and an additional 40 helicopter-borne RLI troops attacked the camps at 07h45 in the morning to exploit the concentration of forces on the parade ground for morning parade. Directly after a strike by the Rhodesian Air Force's aging Canberra and Hunter strike aircraft, to strike as many ground targets as possible, 6 mothballed Vampire jets dating from the 1940s were brought back into use for the operation. A Douglas DC-8 airliner was flown over the Chimoio camps 10 minutes before the airstrike as part of a deception plan in which the insurgents were dispersed in a false air raid alert, so that when the aircraft participating in the actual airstrike approached, they did not cause alarm. When the first Air Force jets arrived, the assembled ZANLA forces, as planned, did not take cover again as they assumed it was the DC-8 that was returning. In the first pass, 4 Canberra bombers dropped 1,200 Alpha bombs over an area 1.1 kilometers long and half a kilometer wide. Following the initial airstrikes by the Canberras, Hunters and Vampire FB-9s, Aluwet 3 helicopter gunships engaged opportunity targets in allocated areas that together inflicted the majority of the casualties, while 2 Vampire T-11s flew top cover. The paratroopers and heliborne troops were deployed on 3 sides of the objective into various stop groups and sweep lines, and were also effective in killing large numbers of fleeing ZANLA cadres. Nevertheless, the small size of the ground force and the lack of a complete envelopment allowed a number of fleeing ZANLA cadres to escape. 2 important targets of the attack, ZANLA commanders Josiah Tongagira and Rex Nhongo, escaped. A stay-behind force of SHASH remained in ambush positions around the area overnight to wait for any ZANLA who might return. These SHASH were then extracted by helicopter in the morning. The Rhodesian force withdrew in good order, having suffered 1 SHASH member being shot and killed at Chimoio, and a Vampire pilot, FLT Philip Hay, was killed trying to crash-land his jet in a field after his aircraft was damaged by ground fire while overflying Van Jersey Crossroads. The pilot chose to attempt a forced landing rather than execute the dangerous act of bailing out of the Vampire, which was not fitted with an ejection seat. Several tons of equipment were destroyed or captured and taken to Rhodesia. A similar attack was repeated 2 days later at Tembue. On that occasion the morning parade had been cancelled, making the cluster bomb strike on the parade ground assembly ineffective. Though there was a Mozambique Liberation Front base nearby, they did not interfere in the Rhodesian forces' activities. A new base was later built in the Chimoio area. This was attacked in 1978 in Operation Tembue.